have we seen the last of Ultra Instinct in Dragon Ball Super? With Goku not knowing how to go back into Ultra Instinct, what exactly does this mean going forward in the Dragon Ball franchise? Are we destined to discover a new form beyond Super Saiyan Blue, or will we ever see the rise of Ultra Instinct once more? On today's video, we will be discussing the return of Ultra Instinct and why it would make sense for it to be executed once more in the new Dragon Ball series, or whatever else decides to follow after Dragon Ball Super. So strap on in and hold on to your Dragon Balls, because we are going to be talking about the return of Ultra Instinct in Dragon Ball Super next. If you are new to this channel and enjoy what you see, then don't forget to punch that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to receive new and daily content on your mobile devices, desktops, and services that I provide, along with following me on these social media platforms to stay connected with me at all times. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now let's begin. Are the powers of Ultra Instinct seen in Dragon Ball Super's Tournament of Power going to be the last time we ever get to see Ultra Instinct be tapped into by Goku in the future of Dragon Ball? I don't believe that to be the case. However, joining me here today to tackle the subject of Ultra Instinct returning in Dragon Ball is my good friend Super Saiyan Paul. As Paul, I don't think that this is going to be the last time we ever see Ultra Instinct in Dragon Ball. Now, to put some context as to why I believe that's the case, is at the end of Dragon Ball Super episode 131, when Vegeta collided against Goku, Vegeta had made the claim in asking Goku, hey, so why don't you tap back into Migate no Gokui again? With Goku having to respond and saying, well, I can't just tap back into it, it just comes natural, I don't know how to do it. And with that statement having to be eluded, it's as clear as day for anyone out there who has a brain that Goku knows that he can't tap into this power by himself. He can't just do it willingly, as we saw previous during Battle of Gods. It's a very similar case having to go back to the beginning, seeing as how Goku was able to obtain Super Saiyan God back during Battle of Gods, in his ability in not being able to tap back into that power even during the course of battle against Beerus. We ultimately saw Super Saiyan God return in some way, shape, or form as the anime and manga progressed. So with that having to be the case, in my personal opinion, I don't think that the writers and producers of Dragon Ball are just going to give up on the concept of Ultra Instinct that easily when it was only showcased one time against one of the strongest mortals ever showcased in Dragon Ball's history. So Paul, how do you feel about the concept of Ultra Instinct returning in Dragon Ball in the future? I, for one, do think that it'll be a necessary approach in bringing back Ultra Instinct for the sake of execution. Why introduce a power like this for it only to be showcased one time? It's really illogical for them to write it off and saying that Goku obtained this as a mistake, as this is kind of the hint that they're giving us in the fact that this was only a mistake, that Goku had tapped into this power and will never in theory go back into this state of divinity. So for me, I do think that for them to market this in executing the origins behind the power and seeing the power be utilized at its max, it'll be a very important thing for them to include in the upcoming Dragon Ball series, whatever that may be, for them to continue the concept of Ultra Instinct and having Goku perfect that in better understanding what this power is, as we saw during the Tournament of Power. So do you believe that it is possible for them to remove Ultra Instinct in the future of Dragon Ball, or do you think that, in your opinion, they're going to keep Ultra Instinct once Dragon Ball returns in further developing that transformation as the series progresses?
I think that Ultra Instinct will inevitably return. The reason being is because with all of the hype and all of the things you see on screen, especially on social media, this form in and of itself is just one of the most powerful things in branding and marketing. And I think the entire reason we saw it even get a second form of development within like the same series, where his hair turned white when he had perfected it, is because the marketability of this form and the hype that it creates is just something that's been unparalleled thus far. Like, it's something brand new, and I think Goku getting this form later on in the series is either a given, or at least surpassing it or tapping into it later on is going to happen, because they might pull what they did with Battle of Gods. And like, remember when he got Super Saiyan God originally?
Exactly.
He they basically just went to blue after that, but he tapped into it later on in the Tournament of Power, showing that, yo, it's still a viable form. But I think they wouldn't just leave this form out of the entire series like just like that, because I feel like with this form being introduced, it set a whole new goal for them to achieve, a whole new power scaling for them to achieve, and something else for them to master, something recognized by gods. You just don't forget that out of nowhere.
Well, let's not also forget that Ultra Instinct isn't something that only Saiyans can achieve. It's not a Super Saiyan transformation, so I really do enjoy the premise of what it is, because it can allude to anybody having it. It can allude to Beerus having it, Jiren having it, Goku having it, and that's what makes it so unique. So by Vegeta questioning Goku and saying, can you go back into it, and for Goku to respond by saying, I don't know, I think it's just, you know, typical Goku fashion for him to reply like that. By any chance, as Vegeta had told Goku, you know, us Saiyans have no limitations, we're gonna find a power beyond this. Do you think that in the next series, if possible, they're going to unlock a power even beyond Super Saiyan Blue that doesn't have anything to do with Ultra Instinct? Or do you think that they ought to stick with the Ultra Instinct concept, in that being the be-all end-all form? Because for me, I would much rather see imperfected Ultra Instinct and mastered Ultra Instinct be the norm, instead of them having to find some green form, some purple form, some orange form, because as I said earlier, I'm transformation fatigued. There are so many transformations, from false Super Saiyan to the Ozaru to Super Saiyan. We have grade 1, 2, and 3 Super Saiyan. We have Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, hell, Super Saiyan 4, God, Blue, Kaioken, Evolution. There's so much. So do you think that the necessary approach would be to introduce another higher level, or do you think that any and all characters who are important, or at least of relevance, should be on the same path as Goku to achieve mastered Ultra Instinct?
I think if they continue the series forward and they have to deal with the cards that they've played here, I think this is going to be the riskiest thing they have to do here, because I love transformations, but I am transformation fatigued as well, because I mean, we've seen basically every spectrum of the rainbow on their heads, and they have a chance to build up the other characters. But with the Saiyans here, what more can you do? And if you don't give them transformations, you're breaking the Dragon Ball formula. So that's going to be one of the biggest risk attempts ever. And even with Ultra Instinct, like, some of the things that they've said, like, this might be a mistake, or there's things like that. Back when we originally saw like the spoilers or the teasers for Ultra Instinct, back in like way before it even aired, when he had the shirtless outfit and he had black hair and it was spiked up like a Super Saiyan, that seemed like Super Saiyan White almost seemed like it was tacked on last second for marketing value, and not necessarily planned out ahead of time, to the point where you would think it was meant for that the entire time. Like, I thought Ultra Instinct was just to be mastered with him without the shirt and black hair, but the white hair added marketing value, and I think that's where they dug themselves into a hole. Now, if they don't continue transformations, they're taking such a risk that I don't know if it'll work, because it's Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball's always about powering up, getting a new aesthetic transformation, then continuing off of this form for a little bit, then another arc, you get another power up, and so on and so forth. What can they do that will change it up and keep it fresh for Dragon Ball and fit the formula?
I definitely think that Ultra Instinct is going to come back, at least for Goku. A lot of us as fans would love to see Vegeta have it, because Vegeta having Ultra Instinct would be a very memorable thing, but in some way, shape, or form, I think they're going to... They actually might end up like... scaring away and just like moving away from Goku and Vegeta having same or similar transformations. As an example, as we saw during the Tournament of Power, Vegeta had Super Saiyan Blue Evolution and Goku had Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. So that was completely different. Even though they look the same, you can clearly tell the difference in terms of like aesthetics and in terms of possibly power. So let's say, for example, if Ultra Instinct doesn't end up returning, what do you think is next? What's beyond Super Saiyan Blue? Is it the evolutionary process, just like we saw with Vegeta? Or would they go as far as giving us a brand new form entirely? And if they decide to do that, would that be the right move? Because I would say, in my opinion, sure, okay, if you want to give these dudes a new form, give it to somebody else. Give it to Gohan, who I think desperately deserves one. Give it to Goten and Trunks. Give it to other characters, not necessarily Goku and Vegeta. If anything, let them have Ultra Instinct. They've worked so hard for it, and it only makes sense for both of them to go as far as achieving that. So, in your opinion, who do you see best fit for having a new form? And let's say UI doesn't return, how would you feel about that?
But first off, I just want to say you're 100% right with that. Like giving the like, spotlight to the other characters. That was something that everybody was saying like towards the middle of Dragon Ball Super, where they were like, "This is the Goku and Vegeta show. You have your chance of the tournament power." They squandered it a bit, but I mean, they have the biggest chance right now to make up all of these other characters' personalities and development right here and now, like with a new franchise or something. But if I was to say, for someone else to get the Ultra Instinct form or get buffed in some way, shape, or form, I'm looking at Gohan. Like, really? Honestly, I mean, I think like it's not even from like a logical point of view. I think it's just from a fan perspective. Like,
but how would he even go into that? Like, how would he achieve a higher power than what he has now? He told his dad, "I'm going to achieve something similar to you, but I'm going to take a different path in doing so." And a lot of us were like, "Holy crap! Is he going to train? What's he going to do?" And nothing came about that. So, like, how would he even go about by achieving a higher power?
It seemed like they were giving him 2 steps forward and then like 5 steps backwards, because they know the marketability. They just threw all their cards on Goku and Vegeta, and it worked, but it's not the most satisfactory for the side characters, which they still have a chance to build up in a new series. But for them to put like little seeds like that, to plant those things, it's always like a factor there. Like, okay, somebody else out of the woodwork can become a powerful Saiyan or even a powerful warrior because of Ultra Instinct, because they don't have to be Saiyans for that. But Gohan was fitting the card, and he was the prodigy, and then all of a sudden, I think maybe they realized, okay, the backlash during the Cell arc, they didn't want Gohan to take the spotlight. Let's just straight away play it safe with Goku and Vegeta. It's worked so far, and the Dragon Ball Super formula was just Goku and Vegeta, Goku and Vegeta, Goku and Vegeta, and at the very end, Frieza and 17 made it into like the little circle that they had there. But those are 2 different characters. Like, Frieza had development since the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, so he fit. I think 17 was the only one that made it. The only one.
Yeah, technically speaking, he was. But also looking at it from an Ultra Instinct standpoint, the only one that has it now is Goku. Now, for Vegeta to have it, which I do think he deserves, would you say that would be a necessary approach or a most logical one for them to do, is to give Vegeta Ultra Instinct? Or, just like they alluded, should they give him something much more different in terms of like stature, in terms of, you know, transformation, you know, giving him like a higher level that even may equate to Ultra Instinct, but not necessarily? So would you say it's proper to give Vegeta a brand new form, or would you rather see him achieve at least imperfected Ultra Instinct in the upcoming series?
I think like it makes the most sense for Vegeta to get it, because we know from the Dragon Ball formula, it's always worked this way, that Vegeta is like Goku's eternal rival, and it's always worked like that way in other animes as well, where you have someone next to the protagonist that can always match this person. With Naruto being against Sasuke, or like in Yu-Gi-Oh! It was always Kaiba. There's just 2 rivals that have to be paired up with one another. That's the formula, and it's gonna be Vegeta. We know it's Vegeta, and it makes the most sense for marketability. You know how fast Vegeta mastered Ultra Instinct merchandise in DLC with Cell. So I mean, I would buy it right away. So I mean, the fact that you know, like, it's almost instinct in your head to go buy it, these guys know that you'll buy it, therefore it's going to be put in the show. Money talks.
So you don't think that this is going I mean, at the end of the day, you don't think that this is going to be like the last time we ever see Ultra Instinct?
No, I don't see it being the last time, because you don't just bring something like that out of nowhere with this much hype and publicity around it and then just drop it and never use it again. I don't see that happening. They've never really done that within the canon show. I mean, even with Super Saiyan God, we saw that happen in the Battle of Gods arc, and then they still managed to bring it back. I thought that form was long gone, but apparently not.
And a lot of us had an issue with that, because I remember when we all first saw Super Saiyan God, and it only happened once, I was always questioning as to if they were going to bring it back, but they never did so. They did so way after, which was a disappointment. But so you're saying that you think that they might take a similar approach in Goku only going into Ultra Instinct when needed? Because I think that that's the only way for them to do so. I don't think that Goku should go into this like knowingly, like, oh hey, I can use Ultra Instinct. No, I think that the only way he should go into it is if he gets beat down so bad, similar to what, you know, Kefla and Jiren did, to where there is no escape. But maybe you feel differently. Like, should he have it to his disposal, or should he not know about it, but only goes into it when it's a very desperate situation?
Now, if that's where they kind of dug a hole again, because if it's a desperate situation, I mean, if there's a new villain, they have to put him in a desperate situation, or else it's not really that much of a villain compared to the past ones.
Right.
And then if they use it too much, it devalues Ultra Instinct. Now, the best way for them to have it incorporated to the show where they can use it at will is if they do what they did with Vegeta and what they did with Super Saiyan Blue. They nerfed both of them. That's why Super Saiyan Red became kind of apparent in the Tournament of Power. Nobody knew that Super Saiyan Blue used up that much power until they wrote that line, and where it's like, oh well, it's using up so much energy, let's just revert to Super Saiyan Red or Super Saiyan God, where this will help us with key control and stuff like that. They're gonna have to throw something into nerf Ultra Instinct, because right now it's the end all be all of all forms, and it wouldn't make sense for him to just tap into it limitlessly and take on any villain and take him out just like that. And if the villain can't push them that far, then what kind of villain is this?
I think it's very interesting that they made Goku utter out the words, "I don't know how to use this power," because as I said earlier, this goes back to Battle of Gods when Goku first tapped into Super Saiyan God and he didn't really know how to use that power. So I think that they ought to do that in the upcoming series, perhaps maybe even in the movie if they want to go in that direction, in allowing Goku to only tap into this transformation, only tap into this power due to having to be beaten at a subconscious level, similar to how Kefla and Jiren had done in the Tournament of Power. Something similar of that nature needs to occur for Goku to only use this power. Now, again, we don't really know as of this recording if they ever plan on introducing more forms in Dragon Ball. For me, I definitely think that there are way too many transformations in Dragon Ball, and it kind of devalues each form as a new one arises. For example, when Super Saiyan 2 came out, nobody really cared about Super Saiyan 1 because Super Saiyan 2 was superior. When Super Saiyan 3 came out, nobody cared about Super Saiyan 2 because Super Saiyan 3 was superior. When Super Saiyan 4 came out, the same concept there. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20, Ultra Instinct, and of course perfected or mastered Ultra Instinct. Way too many transformations, so I think that going into this new series, if they're going to allow Goku to at least have the power to match or even surpass the Hakaishin, let this be it. Don't give Goku any more forms, don't give him any orange forms, any purple forms, any saturated green forms, don't give him anything other than what we've seen in the Tournament of Power. And that's just my subjective opinion, because by introducing another form, what could you potentially do? As an example, if they were to introduce a brand new form, how strong would that form that even goes beyond Super Saiyan Blue be in comparison to Ultra Instinct? You get what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like Ultra Instinct ought to be the be-all, end-all for these mortals, because if it's a power that the angels are aware of, and if it's a power that not even the Hakaishin can reach, then it's suitable to say that this should be the very max that a mortal can reach once they break through their shells. Which is why I believe that Ultra Instinct will eventually return, because you can't have a power like this be showcased in the Tournament of Power, which is something that's canon, and for them not to play off on the idea of what it is, how powerful a mortal can get by mastering this ability and this technique and this power. So I do think that in the future they ought to keep this, at least for Goku, and if they want to give any additional characters transformations, perhaps maybe evolutions, give it to Gohan, give it to other characters such as Piccolo. Hell, if you want to throw in other universal characters, you know, Kaba, Kale, Khalifa, Hit, Jiren, Toppo, whoever it is, but if you're going to introduce and stay with the concept of Ultra Instinct, I think, in my opinion, Goku ought to execute that more and then play it off from there. So in the end, guys, let us know your thoughts down below. Do you guys believe that Ultra Instinct will be returning in Dragon Ball in the foreseeable future, or is there going to be a brand new form that we might end up seeing in the brand new series? Let us know your thoughts down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Of course, if you guys are Dragon Ball fans, if you guys love anime, if you guys love discussions, make sure you guys slap that subscribe button, guys. Turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon, because that is technically the new YouTube subscribe button. So if you guys want to be notified of all of my videos, enable that bell. Of course, check out my second and third channels, Unreal Vlogs and of course Unreal Network. I will leave both of them down below alongside Paul's channel as well. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below. Take it easy, everybody. Cue my outro, bitch.